major, which TODAK also heavily relies on in those grand finals against EVOS Esports back in MPL. Now, of course, for GEO, Aura is going to be making that decision to lock one more ban away from TODAK. And I'm not too sure how they're going to be actually approaching this, but I do think that they should take out one of these fighter tanks available, or even take out the Lolita in that sort of sense, because they've already got the Halas already being banned away. So just negating even more options would be great.
Yeah, the Lolita ban, either that or the Archive, but it's going to be the Tamus ban, the fighter that you pointed out earlier. So Tamus taken out. I feel like Tamus isn't going to be the biggest issue for GEO Esports to deal with. They can still fall back to the Lolita if they want to. They can fall back to the Archive, which I personally prefer a bit more, simply because there's a Cho on TODAK's side. The Hurricane Dance is effective to prevent this Cho from getting that Way of the Dragon off. But it's going to be GEO Esports starting off this pick phase. They do have the last pick advantage, so this might be their chance to throw a curveball like the Lilith in the previous game. Even though it did not work out, it could be an avenue for them to capitalize on.
Well, I would say that they definitely need to capitalize on those sort of situations, but Kagura is being covered as well as Slod. So this will be possibly the very first Kagura that we're seeing for today. And, well, I'm not too sure on how they're going to commit to this, because they're going to bring out the Mensitar pocket pick of TODAK. Well, of course, it hasn't been locked in, but if the Kagura goes in, it's going to be pretty hard for her to actually escape with those sort of umbrella yin-yang overturn as well.
Yeah, it's a direct counter to the Kagura. This is actually the second Kagura pick. I believe GEO Esports picked Kagura previously against Sunspark, and they lost. But no, it doesn't hurt to try again. It is one of their comfort picks. But we're not getting a Minister, we're getting a Kimi and a Valiant for TODAK.
Well, all hands on deck. We're already looking at some pretty high burst damage output coming from the TODAK side, as we see Kimi as well as Cho. I think that this Cho is going to be going a little bit offensive as well, because look at them from the side of GEO Esports. They're not exactly ultra tanky, so if he were to actually go in with that sort of build with the Blade of Despair as well as the Endless Battle, then they could easily go in for some great bursts. It's only that sort of Kufra on the way to actually knock them out in that sort of sense. I'm not too sure what those signals are for, but I'm pretty sure that TODAK now says this one's for the fans.
And Daira for GEO Esports. I believe IC Baby 12 did point out to me, I believe off the broadcast, that GEO Esports might bring out this Daira. I guess he was right, so the last ditch for GEO Esports, like I said, nothing to lose. It's time to go all in. I'm not sure how to feel about this Dairov. He is the lane dominant one, good at 1 versus 1, but horrible when it comes to a full-blown team fight. We'll see how GEO Esports kind of play around this particular fighter.
Well, I am definitely excited to see that 1v1 situation on those lanes, but now we've already seen those sort of drafts. I'm still favoring the side of TODAK for that sure firepower that they do have on their arsenal. Now, heading it towards the side of GEO, what do you feel like is the strength of what the Brazilian side does have?
I feel like for GEO Esports, I look at the draft and it isn't those that you don't see every day, right? The Kagura, the Dairov is kind of split between I want to fight you, but I don't really want to fight you. Maybe the Dairov is like your just like a substitute to the Marsha, the alternative to kind of deal with TODAK split push. It could be that, but the problem with Libra last game was that if you are playing a hero like Marsha, you don't want to be camping in the brush waiting for your play to come, knowing that you are not 100% going to kill him. You need to constantly be getting resources, and what Libra did, he was waiting in the brush for way too long. We'll see if he changes his habit, because game 2 is ready. Let's jump right in the last best of 3 for today. TODAK against GEO Esports.
Now we're having our very last game. You guys are looking forward for the grand finals. Pick up this code right down below to get 25% off for the MLBB World Championship 2019 M1. Now E1, of course, having that rhyme with M1. He's trying to actually get himself a little bit more of that lead. We're already saying that TODAK has already qualified, but they are looking to be having that safety net in the upper bracket. So E1, of course, and the rest of TODAK has the hometown cheering them on as well, as this will be played out in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Flicker has the pop on the side of Libra as they continue that hot pursuit to chunk out that turret HB.
Yeah, Tyrov is just so ineffective when there's more than one enemy hero within the same vicinity, and you can see that he already lost his flicker. TODAK's gonna get that first turret if GEO Esports do not respond, and it seemed like GEO Esports, the same issue that Evo Esports had earlier on against TODAK, is that they are not responding to TODAK's aggression of taking those early objectives, and this time it's going to be GEO Esports being pushed to the back foot. 3 men from TODAK are already there. They can easily look for a dive onto Libra if Libra stays any longer. That tail is going to go down again. A minute and a half on the dot. Timing is perfect. GEO Esports, they want to find something, but they will lose that first blood over to Moon.
Now we're seeing a whole lot of that sort of advantage given the oversight of TODAK as well. Now, of course, this is the reason why a lot of all these teams actually ban off Kimmy, because of the sort of the shot that you could just slowly chunk out the tower so quickly. And once again, less than 2 minutes. That's one more tower to get away. And of course, that's going to be some redemption codes for those of you guys back at home looking for some goodies. So make sure you take a screenshot and immediately go in to redeem this code with that sort of a link given right down below. So make sure you guys don't miss out and don't ask for even more, because you guys always say, hey, we want to claim some codes. Now, here you go.
Yeah, if you're watching right now, out of all the tens of thousands of people, if you make the extra effort to screenshot that, you are going to be the one walking away. TODAK now, they definitely will put in effort to lock in that 2-0. One of the reasons Kagura is not picked so much was because it takes too long for Kagura to come online, and she does put herself at risk a lot of time just to get those kills secured. You can see TODAK, this time they're not prioritizing on the turtle wave because they know GEO Esports, they don't have any way to answer that, and Moon getting the second kill on Kagura again. They're going to lose the export to Kimmy. Chiku getting his first kill.
Yep, and one by one they will fall, and Was have no more options to actually even go into his jungle to even farm things out. Thomas is just trying his luck as well, but knowing that Moon is inside is not going to be fate checking that rush anyways. But look at Was though, he's still hopping right in, and wow, Moon still secures that buff in hand.
Slightly bleak for GEO Esports. From the get-go, it felt like they did not know how to deal with TODAK's macro play. And understandably, it's not that easy because TODAK, they have been doing this for a long time. They know how to kind of tug and pull and drag their enemies around. Even Sunsparks today in the opening series did fall victim to the macro play that TODAK displayed. The GEO Esports, they're finding it really tough to even get it engaged.
Well, we're looking at Was here, of course, having a lot of flexibility as a crew to easily hop out of that battle as well. Now, we're looking at the Dyrov kind of overextending as well, trying to secure that river crab, but there is the Lunox as well as the Grok going head to head right down below, and now they're already giving chase towards the side of Libra, and there is still the element yet to be used here from the side of E1, but Libra will be able to escape. And here comes Way of the Dragon coming in from X-Ray to secure the kill, and there's going to be more to come as they're on that tower. Last is out of being popped out as well. Aris is going to clear off the wave, but look at all the members of GEO. They're dropping to less than 50%.
Yeah, X-Ray just styling onto Libra. The flicker was on point. The way of the dragon was perfect. TODAK now is on the second turtle. GEO Esports, it seems like they want to contest it as well. Jumps right in with their ultimate, but turtle will be secured by TODAK. And it's a killing spree for Moon. Tiku now is going to laser down that Xbox. The wild shot is on point, but E1, and he won't even go down. GEO Esports, they lose everything in that fight.
My, oh my, look at how the Cooper actually overextended. Yes, he could possibly go in for those knocks, but the follow-ups were not really that efficient because we look at Aro, he's already low, and that wall charge knocked them both up in the air as the nuts will be able to secure pretty much an easy kill being set up from the side of the Grok.
Yeah, the E1 wild charge, he flickered, and his ultimate was, but it was directed in an angle that actually knocked out both the members of GEO Esports. It's just perfect game sense and knowing how to close out a fight. E1 now is going to be that front line for TODAK again. But TODAK, they have absolutely free reign of GEO Esports' side of the match. You can see Aura now getting low. The guard is there, just coming home is so fast for now. But Waz actually jumps in, finds the kill. But E1 is in the back line. This Gurp is an assassin. Mega kill for Moon, and was alive, but now he's dead. Triple kill for E1.
Well, should have renamed to something else instead. Was now. We're looking at Libra, of course, at least getting a consolation prize over the bottom side. But have a look at the replay brought to you by U Mobile. And instantaneously, that stun over to the side of Holmes, and E1 at the back line here, taking that double kill. They still went in for a dive with the order of Williams being popped. Make a kill for that Lunox, and eventually close out against 40 members of GEO. They could not even defend that tower in peace.
Yeah, and seems like TODAK, they're gonna hold true to Moon's word. They need to make sure that what Moon said stays true in this championship. GEO Esports 11-2 in favor of TODAK. We are only 6.5 minutes in. The third turtle will be up for grabs. TODAK is going to immediately collapse on that objective, and GEO Esports, there is no way that they'll be able to contest this.
4 kills in the back for E1 as well as Moon, and Libra right now already have that Bloodless Exo. Not too shabby after all, but still not enough damage output coming out as you see that Lunox is going to go 1 versus 1. Libra, can he possibly run out this? I do believe that there will be no chances whatsoever as we see June as well as was already arriving. Tyrant's Rage over the side of the wall as well, so that's a huge shot coming from Kogura, and now Master Saran chasing over on the side of Chiku, but there's too many members of the side of TODAK to actually bring them all the way down, and there's only gonna be Carry waiting in the mid lane, and wow, TODAK definitely going to be crashing out from the bottom side.
Oh yeah, E1 is the main carry of TODAK in game 2, 6-0-5 on this Grog. He's an unstoppable beast. He does not care what GEO Esports tries to do. We talk about this Dyro pick. Only good in solo lane. The moment that there's more than one enemy hero, Dyro just completely becomes ineffective. Libra, the entire game, it felt like he didn't get to play much at all because of TODAK's extremely impressive macro play. They catch up where this Dyro is. They always make sure that if Libra tries to do something funny, they'll push it away. You don't even need to kill this Dyro. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't get access to any resources.
No, looking inside of TODAK as we see them slowly camping out by the corners of the bush. So that's going to be less than 35 seconds for them to actually get themselves that Lord in hand. And if they do get the Lord right here, then they will definitely be able to secure the game. But if GEO Esports gets in towards that Lord pit and manages to go in for that still, then maybe they might actually buy themselves a little bit of that lifeline.
Yeah, and Chiku's damage is just absolutely insane. Pushing Aura and Home is back. Endless battle picked up by X-Ray. This show, he can go whatever he wants and still be effective because of the lead that TODAK has. Very first siege, Libar getting gunned down, almost goes down to the barrier, but GEO Esports, they'll need to desperately defend this, and Dyrov will be burned to a crisp. Libra now out of the picture for 25 seconds.
Now, looking at the way that the waves have been pushed out really well, which means it's call time for the Lord to take it down. So TODAK instantly responds with this and hits back in towards pressurizing the rest of the members of GEO. They have to escort the top lane wave though, so they're just going to be trying to set it in sort of the same shape where the mid lane, of course, right now doesn't have any sort of minions at all, so it's going to be pretty tough. But then again, Lord has been called out, and GEO Esports, how are they supposed to stall this? I hate to say this, but it looks really, really bleak. Feels very impossible at this point of the game. We are only 9.5 minutes in, but TODAK, they have a massive 14k net worth advantage. This is a net worth advantage that is almost impossible to recover from at GEO Esports. They only have one last fight. The maximum chance already comes out, and now the Lord will engage on the inhibitor. Actually goes right in. He finds the kill. Kagura is down. Actually gets out. Style points on it. Dyro finds the kill onto Actually, but GEO Esports needs to do it way more. The Lord does get eliminated. Aura will survive that. Maybe not. Immortality gives him a second life. But TODAK, they're going to split up the battle lines. 2 on the top,
2 on the bottom. Chiku just pressuring GEO Esports back. They get that top inhibitor, the middle inhibitor now. It's going to be the next target. TODAK, it feels like they don't want to waste time. They want to go for the end. All members, all hands on deck. Malaysia is looking at TODAK right now. E1 goes for the flicker wild charge. No kills yet onto GEO Esports, but with the minion wave crashing in, TODAK, they're preparing for their final siege.
Now, of course, they are also trying to take down the very final turret that they have, and the base is right now. Ball and
Oh my
will be taken
goodness.
down for the killing spree. Chiku was going so hard, and they're not even letting any room for them to breathe. But look at E1 though, as much as the tank is being brought down pretty low, but there's no members of GEO to finish him off.
GEO Esports hanging by a thread. They are walking on a tightrope, but with one last member down, 10 more seconds until the export comes back. TODAK, do they need 10 seconds? And it seems like GEO Esports will have slightly enough time, but they lose the Kufra. Wars is now down, and it seems like TODAK is going to go for the final push, waiting for the minion wave. Middle lane is the target. Chiku dropping low. GEO Esports, can they defend it? The crystal is exposed. The flicker in from the dive takes down the Kimi. GEO Esports, they might just live a bit longer. Last insanity for Aura doesn't connect onto Nana. The next raid will have to be forced to retreat. GEO Esports, they still are breathing, but barely doing so.
Yeah, and we'll look at GEO Esports. At least that was a valiant effort for them to actually hang on for dear life. Though, of course, the export not really in the best of form. At least that immortality is going to buy him a little bit of that sort of space. And this is what I really dislike about support export, where you really got to play really defensively if you're really behind. And look at all these items. It's just going to be made as a tank power right over the wall, and that will be one more kill for the export. So, of course, he has proven me wrong. But Aura here, of course,
E1.
get a little bit of redemption, and E1 just charging right in, just forcing him to run the wrong way.
Yeah, Aura buying time for the rest of GEO Esports, and this is a death that GEO Esports will take any time. Killing spree does go over to Nanas though. Fortunately for GEO Esports, they're still managing to hold on. They bought the time. The glowing staff right now. Golden staff, excuse me. On home is the carry, slowly coming online. GEO Esports, 16k net worth deficit. All 3 lanes will be constantly pushed in by TODAK. They have to deal with those super minions 24/7. But it seems like TODAK have not found the recipe to close out this game just yet.
Well, of course, TODAK usually have some of these struggles heading in because they want a crystal clear victory. And in order to do so, they really need to find that sort of a loophole that GEO Esports have. So they're just trying to find a way whether or not can they punish either one of these members, because if they do commit to the Kagura, there's still chances where she could just easily slide away as well. So they're not taking those sort of 50-50s without thinking twice.
And maybe with this Lord, TODAK can finally close out the game. GEO Esports, they want to try, but the Lord is dying way too fast. TODAK zoning out GEO Esports means that they will secure the second Lord, and they have found that final piece of the puzzle to close out game 2. And we'll see if GEO Esports can hold on against this incoming force.
E1 just protecting his KDA by buying immortality. Well, I'm not too sure does any one of these members from GEO Esports really want to focus down that really tanky route to begin with. Now he's just standing in this way. Maybe he just really want to find a way to just block some of all these minutes with those walls. So now just waiting for all of this to march, and look at the charts. Oh my, the goal heading in towards about 20k.
And I like what TODAK is doing. I like what E1 is doing with their Guardian's Barrier. It's constantly placing us down to stall out the wave. So when the next minion wave spawns, you will have 2 waves crashing in that middle lane. It will be impossible for GEO Esports to defend against this magnitude of a minion wave, and TODAK can easily close that out. So just smart brains from TODAK, understanding how to manipulate the minion wave. This might be the final push.
No, I definitely would say that this might just be the end of it all for the side of GEO Esports. But now, this is going to be the last hurrah coming from the side of GEO. Whether or not can they defend the base, and Chiku already chunking out Aura's. Oh, there we go!
E1's going to go in with a wild charge, and now GEO Esports, they need to hold on, but they lost to the Lord pounding on the crystal, and Team Malaysia locking up a bracket from Group C.
TODAK Esports, of course, finally getting themselves that upper bracket with this sort of victory, and there's just all smiles and high fives all across the board. Unfortunately for GEO Esports, this is where their journey will end.
At GEO Esports, they are the 5th and 6th team joining Evo Esports to wave goodbye to the M1 World Championship. But for TODAK, their run continues a bit more. They can have a bit more break. They are in the upper bracket right now because of that 2-0 win. They are a point ahead of Sunsparks. So Sunsparks will be knocked down to the lower bracket in the double elimination format when we get to the playoffs. And because of how the bracket format works, TODAK, I believe they're going up against RRQ.
Well, RRQ is definitely a really huge titan to be waiting in that bracket as well. And I'm definitely looking forward for this, but let's break down some of the post-match statistics because E1, as much as a tank, look at him go 6-0-8, and yet again, he's not the MVP. It's actually Chiku here, possibly dealing the most damage as well. And even in terms of the gold, you can see that Chiku is definitely loaded in the back. And for GEO, I mean, I don't know what to say about some of all these performances. I felt like they have a really rough day from start to finish, but hey, they are, after all, the best coming from Brazil, and they could still walk back home with that sort of title intact. And, well, definitely, we hope to see GEO in the upcoming future round.